day. I am Merivin Ann V. Culandob. Today, we are going to talk about artificial organs. Artificial organs are those human-made devices that use to replicate a real human tissue or real human organ and usually implanted inside the human body to interface with other living cells. It works in a way that it replaces a part or the total organ itself and used to duplicate or augment its functions or function to maintain physiological processes and sustain life. So it was classified into three categories according to the materials that are used in creating this. So the first classification is the mechanical artificial organs that are made of inanimate polymers like plastics or metals. Next is the biomechanical artificial organs that are made out of partially living cells and inanimate polymers. Then the last classification is the artificial organs that are made of living cells or biodegradable polymers like bioprinting of genes. Artificial organs are considered or usually considered as the Hail Grail of bioengineering. Why? Because this is a part of an important research area that lies within or in the intersection of medicine, life sciences, and engineering. So it means that the scientific concepts behind of this technology is based upon the human anatomy and physiology that rise and sustain life. It also mimics the physiological processes in the human body through the utilization of bioengineering, and it also cured diseases to improve and prolong life. That one of the main goals of medicine field. So are you wondering on how this technology became a technology from being a mere science that based upon the human body? Is it through the initiative of Dr. Wilhelm Johann Kopf, wherein he was the first who recognized the need of the society to these artificial organs, because he was the father of artificial organs and the first one who invented the artificial heart and kidney just using orange juice cans and automotive parts and sausage casings. But why Dr. Kopf invented this technology? Because he witnessed a painful experience wherein he witnessed a dying young man that suffered from a kidney failure. In this very experience of his, it ushers him to pursue his interest in developing artificial organs. Along the development of this technology, Dr. Kopf encountered several problems. Like for example is the individual differences, because people tends to be unique to each other, variety of reactions tends to occur. Next is the rejection, because even in natural organ or human organ, rejection can be elicited. What more to artificial organ? Next is the side effects of this artificial organ, like the infection or thrombus formation, and what are the appropriate materials and methods that Dr. Kopf should be used in order for him to create a highly functional artificial organs, and then the human subjects approval. However, Dr. Kopf able to overcome these problems through conducting extensive researches and with the aid of other technologies. Like for example, he used silicone instead of plastics to reduce the reactions. And also he collaborated with other professionals like bioengineers, scientists, and doctors, and ensure informed consent. He also able to minimize side effects through growing own stem cells of the patient to reduce rejections. So who are those people that can benefit with this technology? Of course, those people that have severe disease like cancer, heart disease, or DM, and those people that needs life support, and people that who is far from the transplant list, and those people that is very desperate to have an organ, and also those patients that have rare conditions that making them difficult to find a donor, and those rich people. Aside of this, there are also population group that tends to suffer with this technology. Like for example, is those healthcare providers like nurses, because nurses tend to do further researches and studies in order for them to render appropriate care to the person with artificial organs. And then the person itself, because the person can suffer with the side effects and the risk. Then the poor people that can avail or afford these artificial technologies. And lastly, those animals and human subjects that bear the consequences of these artificial technologies or artificial organs before it was released in the public.
Financial cost of an organ is only a fraction of the cost for the complete transplantation procedure. Let's say the artificial organ itself range about $20,000. Other fees to transplant it can cost a lot more. In terms of social cost, the best example is how it uplifts the economy of a certain country that develops the highly functional artificial organs. However, it costs a lot to the environment and natural resources of a certain society. Although the risk and cost are always present in anything that we do, as time passes by through innovations and different actions of development, almost everything is improving, and that includes the use of artificial organ. Throughout the decades, transplantation to treat organ failure has progressed significantly. As the technology on organ transplantation develops, artificial organs are playing an increasingly significant role. However, they tend to differ in terms of rate of progression. For example, as of now, artificial hearts have been developed quickly than other organs like the kidneys because it was highly in demand of the society, while artificial kidneys can be replaced by other alternative options like dialysis.
Advantages and disadvantages of artificial organs. 1. Reduce mistype tissue and DNA, eliminate organ donation, improve quality of patient's life, or even save patient's life, can be produced in sufficient quantities to help patients, unlike natural organs. Eliminate the possibility of transferring infections such as HIV. For the disadvantages, inability to adapt to growth or regenerate, costly, limited for public use or not for all, high possibility of organ rejection, necessitate enough proper knowledge and education, not accepted by others, and can confuse a person whether he or she is still a human and a normal human being. Based on those advantages and disadvantages, the risk of not having an artificial organ and its existence are quite debatable topic, but for our group, according to our researches, since artificial organs are not accessible by all, the risk of not having it can be considered as lower in extent than the risk that it can give to those persons who have this. Furthermore, almost all kinds of organs can be replicated, ranging from a simple neurostimulators to heart, liver, lungs, ovaries, and pancreas. That's why it's one of the controversial issues in the medicine and research fields. Different arguments like unethical way of how it was created, like usage of animals, human subjects, and buying real organs for investigation, against the religious beliefs of some religion. For example, heart is an organ with great emotional, symbolic, or religious meaning for most people. Replacing it with artificial heart can alter the integrity of the human soul. Unacceptance of the cultural groups of the society, and lastly, perceived as one of the results of medical research.